All right. It is July 21st. I don't know about you guys, but here in Texas, it is hot, hot, hot. We're like breaking records of heat this week, like 104, 106. I don't know. I think in Amarillo right now, it might be 99, but all around us, it's like it's supposed to be July. I
It's like
guess.
102.
Is it 102? Okay. It's hot. It's just really hot here. So it sounds like it must be there too in St. Louis if you were at the pool for 4 hours, Dawn. So, okay, I will say a quick prayer and then we'll get going. Lord, I just thank you for these ladies and thank you they could all be here this evening. And I thank you for just everyone in our unit. And I know that there's things that people are dealing with, Lord, on this call and also just in our unit. And Lord, I just pray for all of them and I pray for your wisdom and your guidance and just guide us tonight as we learn some new things and always guide me as I speak. And we just thank you so much for you and who you are and all you've done for us. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Okay. So I think I've gathered some sales numbers here. So just to recap, Dawn had $50 and Debbie had $186, we think around there. And Jody had $348 and a facial. And I ended up doing two faces. I had about $418 in sales, and I counted up my products. It was about 17 products. Um, and I actually facialed one of the people I facialed. She's actually a personal use consultant for, and not in our unit, but she was teeing out like she's not going to be a consultant anymore. And she kind of got placed in some other unit because like her director quit and then her recruiter quit, and it was someone in Oklahoma. So I think she's going to re-sign in our unit. So that's exciting. She's mainly personal use, but it's okay. She's real sharp. And so I think, but she can't sign up until August. So she wanted to pay me to do a facial because she's not in our unit. I said, you're not going to pay me. I will help you stripe you and all that. And she's really been a Mary Kay consultant forever, but she wasn't using very much skincare. And she's about 10 years older than me. I'm like, you should be using the skincare because I mean, your skin looks pretty good, but I'm like, when you're in your 60s, you probably should use more than cleanser and moisturizer, especially when you can get it 50% off. So I was like, so we talked about that a little bit. Got her striped in a new color. And I know Jody's facial was really good. And does anyone want to share anything great that's happened this week? Dawn, I know you and Cheryl did a vendor event. Does anyone want to share something? It doesn't have to be Mary Kay, just anything good that's happened this week.
Well, regarding the event, it led to us knowing that we have a free room in a high-end med spa, other normal nail med spa. It's a multi-functional place, free for the holiday. So we were like, oh, we are going to have a holiday boutique. So Deb, I was going to talk to you about like wrapping you in on an opportunity to have a holiday open house over there on the Illinois side for us in this space that is pretty awesome. I'm also started talking to a Latino girl who seemed highly interested in having her Mary Kay business get going. So there's some follow up. So I had a couple of good leads, different than what Cheryl did from this vendor event that we did.
Okay. Well, it's cool. It looked cool. It was kind of med spa, high end kind of
Oh
a
yeah,
thing.
one thing I
But
did was grab their brochure to see, like, from with my own eyes, what people stupidly pay for all the injections, the Botox, the IV liquids, all the what I want to say is silly stuff, and to just understand like the pricing in case I ever need to kind of wrap that into something I'm doing with, you know, our thing. Like when I think about the Skin Boost Camp,
mhm.
if somebody wanted to do that and what it could cost, and then they still have all the Mary Kay products, In any case, it was interesting. It was definitely interesting, enough traffic, but one bad thing about that event was there was definitely more than one skincare uh,
Yeah, I
vendor.
wondered about
And
that.
there
I was
wasn't
hoping you
supposed
guys
to
just
be.
weren't like right next to another one.
Well, our barn was on the first floor. We had a
Oh,
fabulous table up on the second floor, and we had the biggest table up there. So we got to see. So there was enough pluses. We had kind of like low expectations because it's the first time this event took place at that venue. And we walked away with enough, I would say. And our focus strictly was going to be promoting a free 21-day trial of our Time Wise repair. So we kind of wanted to
yeah.
see who would engage with us on that. And then the other thing we were promoting based on that type of event was the 30-day skincare boost camp. And with that, we were not going to let it be for free, but we were offering a flat price in between the true wholesale and the retail. If
Mm.
anybody was like really ready, dying to get going on something like that, we were prepared to do all that. But based on just the way the day was, again, we didn't care. And Cheryl, yeah, we walked away with enough. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place.
No, that's okay. It's just curious to know. Jody and I have done a few vendor events, and that used to be my main place to get new leads. It still is, but I have felt like, I don't know, I haven't gotten as much as I've wanted. But it gives you something, and the people I have
Well,
gotten are new, and I try to book them. So,
the other thing too that was of interest to Cheryl and I was, over in the area where the spa is, that we know that there's like let's just say almost like upper scale people, right? That will pay a lot of
mhm.
money for their personal care and wellness. And so I was interested to see, what type of reaction people had about Mary Kay overall. And all I can say is, I didn't detect that anybody was like negative and down on Mary Kay, right?
Yeah,
So that made me happy. Some of the conversations were good, some were just it's okay.
yeah,
All things considered, you got to pay attention to who might engage with you on a circumstance like that and who might not. And
yeah,
then we were supposed to get a list of all the people that ended up attending that. Um, to be able to maybe do some reach out. We're supposed to find out who received our giveaway gift basket, which we did one of the predecessor Skinvigorate brushes. And then we also did two of the lavender and coconut products, looking real pretty in a basket that I made up. Because we thought, that's skincare related with the brush and,
hmm
bathroom spa with the coconut and lavender.
hmm
So we'll have to see where that leads us.
yeah. Did anybody else have anything they want to share that's been good this week, Mary Kay or otherwise?
I talked to a lady, where they have their own, not apartments, but like little houses that are stuck
Yeah,
together around their
yeah.
apartment. And so I'm supposed to go there next week and present to her how to do, put a skincare thing together and see how many people want to do it. And so
Oh, good.
that's the first time I went in there. And then maybe when I do that, I'll get to going where I'll do some other ones too.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of like duplexes or cottages or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Oh, good.
older women.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah,
Yay.
that's
So,
what I was excited that I finally did something like that.
yeah, two good things. Yeah. Dawn's thing and your thing. Yeah, very good. Okay, anything else before I move on? Okay, well, let's talk about this new brush. So, this is what it looks like. I will tell you a one little tip. It does come with like a little plastic thing that's on here that you can barely see. And I didn't notice it the first time. And so I'm like massaging and the plastic thing was still on there. And I thought, well, what a dork I am. Well, then I saw somebody else post about it that they did that too. So it is like hard to see on there. So it does come with a little charging cord, but I actually haven't charged it yet. Like I just have been turning it on and using it. But let me show you some information that I have, and then I'll tell you a little bit about how I have liked it. But so there's two sides. There's the cleansing mode, and there's soft silicone brushes that gently lift away dirt, oil, and makeup. And then it's a vibration technology. So there's a little button that you turn on, and it starts to vibrate. A deeper cleanse than hands alone, gentle enough for daily use on all skin types. And there's 5 different vibration intensities. So you just keep clicking the vibration to get the higher intensity. And it'll go for like, it tells you in the instructions. There's a big instruction booklet. Like here's the instruction booklet. It tells you like it stops. So like you're supposed to do like one side and it stops itself for a second. And then you go to the other side and it like pauses so that you can move to other parts of your face. And then the thermal mode is a warming massage that helps support better absorption of your favorite skincare products. Perfect for use with serums, boosters, facial oils, and moisturizers, and it creates a relaxing spa-like experience. So it takes about 30 seconds for it to, once you turn on, there's another little button at the top that turns the heat on. So you have to have the vibration on. Then you turn the little heat button on, and then it takes about 30 seconds for it to get warm. So just so you know, so I usually go ahead and start rubbing it on my face and then it starts to get warm. So, it is, okay, so we've already talked about what it is. So what makes it special? 3 things that set it apart. It's genuinely a 2-in-1, cleansing and thermal massage in the same device at a price point where most brands make you choose one or the other or charge $175 plus to get both. It comes with a stand. So here's the little stand. Small detail, real difference, somewhere clean and dry for your device to live between uses. It's built for your whole routine, not just your cleanser. The thermal side is designed to be used with your boosters, serums, oils, and moisturizers, not just water and soap. And what it does, the cleanse side, hand cleansing alone leaves pore clogging residue behind, no matter how thorough you think you're being. Vibration technology dislodges what your fingers can't reach gently and consistently without over scrubbing or irritating your skin barrier. It's suitable for daily use on all skin types, including sensitive skin. Now, the warmth on the other side, the heat has a real physical effect on skin. It temporarily helps the surrounding tissue become more pliable and support circulation, which is exactly why a warm washcloth feels so good before you apply moisturizer. Skinvigorate Duo brings that same principle into a consistent, repeatable step in your routine instead of leaving it to chance. So it does improve the efficacy of what you're already using. This is the part that most people don't realize until they try it. You can own the best serum on the market, but if it just sits on the surface of your skin, you're not getting what you paid for. The thermal side of the Skinvigorate Duo is designed to help your product move past the surface, so the ingredients you've already invested in have a better chance to actually do their job. So apply your product. So we've seen, like I've seen videos, I even reposted a video where they were putting the product right on top of this. I think that's probably not the best way to do it. The instruction book and this do say to put the product on your dry skin, then use the warm side to massage it in. Product first, then warmth, always in that order. And this works especially well with vitamin C plus E, or the vitamin C, niacinamide, and hydrating boosters, the lifting serum, the serum C plus E, facial oils, and moisturizers. I've mostly been doing it, like I use the nourishing oil sometimes at night after my moisturizer. I've mostly been using it with that. But I could use it with all the boosters and my serums and my moisturizer. So there is one important exception. Skip the warm side when you're using retinol or sunscreen. So if you use retinol at night, so you might want to use your warming thing in the morning if you're using retinol at night. And don't use it to like apply sunscreen in. So heat increases penetration, which is helpful for a booster, but not something you want amplifying retinol's intensity or interfering with your SPF's effectiveness. Save those for your regular routine without the thermo step. So basically you cleanse, you wet your face, and then you kind of get the brush head wet, like under the sink. Apply the cleanser to the skin and then gently glide gently over the face, and then lower the intensity in the morning, higher intensity in the evening to remove the makeup. And then it says, then you can treat your skin by applying your booster or serum to dry skin. So I still had to use like a washcloth, to wash off all the rest of the residue, even after using this, just because it just kind of, it gets it clean, but then it's still kind of sitting on my face. So I still use a washcloth after I do this. And then, then you apply your booster or serum to your dry skin and use the warm side to help it absorb. And since it takes about 30 seconds for that to kind of warm up, your skin kind of dries enough before you apply the booster or the serum. Then moisturize, and then, or add your facial oil. And then this says, as an optional cool down, finish with a cool roller, like, that little rose gold roller we've had. It says you can finish with a cool roller to calm the skin and reduce puffiness. And again, never pair the warm side with retinol or sunscreen. And then this is, you guys have probably seen this on Facebook. This is kind of just a comparison of our Mary Kay Skinvigorate Duo compared to other brands that are on the market that offer the same kinds of things that this does, and doesn't even offer all of it for a higher price than the $95, which ours is. So hopefully that kind of helps. So frequently asked questions: will the warmth affect your vitamin C serum? No. Brief surface warmth during use is very different from what actually degrades vitamin C over time, which is prolonged heat exposure, UV light, and air exposure once a product is opened. A few seconds of massage isn't storage. Does this work like the devices that claim to smooth wrinkles with heat? Not quite. Those are radio frequency devices which heat deep tissue to stimulate collagen over time. The Skinvigorate Duo's warmth works at the surface to help your products absorb better. It's a delivery tool, not a wrinkle treatment. And it can be used daily. You cannot submerge it in the tub. And in the instructions, it recommends that you do not keep it in the shower. You don't want to get it that wet. And I've even tried to make sure I kind of dry it off, because the bottom is where you plug it in to charge it. So I've been turning it, I've been kind of wiping it down. And then I saw one director say she takes just a little bit of alcohol and takes a cotton ball just to kind of clean off the massage head. I haven't really done that, but I've dried it with a soft towel after I'm done. And then anyway, so that's kind of how it works and what it's supposed to do. So do you guys have any questions about it?
I have a comment.
Okay.
I saw something on Facebook with somebody else talking all about the functionality and how we're supposed to use it, and just where our current or the predecessor one did the spinning and the pulsing. This one just pulses. It doesn't spin with the silicone bristles, correct?
Correct. Like I have it on right now. It's just vibrating.
Okay. Yeah.
But these little bristles feel really good. These little
silicone. I can't wait to try it. My box arrived today.
Yeah.
I ordered a whole bunch of them. I'm so super excited to get, but I'm just surprised. Well, surprised and now not on the fact that we can't use it in the shower. Like, it seemed like.
I think you can. You just have to be careful because you can't get it too wet. Let me see. I think that's what it says. Well, it just says do not submerge in water. So I guess if you had it in your shower and it was on a place where it's not going to get like the shower just spraying on it, then you probably could. It's just, you got to be careful. And I think you don't want this base to get really wet and then you stick this part down into the base, because this is the part that you plug it in. And you have to have a USB-C. So like you get this little cord, but you got to have a USB-C to plug it into the wall to charge it. And I'm not thinking you're going to have to charge it too often, but I thought it said, I'm not seeing where it actually says. It just says don't submerge it in water. Do not get the charging port wet. So that's this bottom part. You don't want to get this wet. And so I think you could use it in the shower. You just need to be careful because you don't want it anywhere where it's going to get this bottom part real wet because that's where you charge it. So I think that would be the thing. It says on here for external use only as directed. Do not use in a bathtub or shower. Do not use damaged parts. So I don't know. I think you could, you just have to be really careful. Depends on how your shower is, probably. Does that help?
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to comment on at first, of course, this is typically my reaction when new stuff comes out, like the price point, maybe jump back a little bit, right? But then
Yes.
the comparison to others and the fact that was our predecessor Skinvigorate brush like 75, so this is now 95, and the fact that you get the thermal side, like to me, that made me go, okay, I like this. I can handle that.
Yeah, and I do like that it heats, and the other one we had, I don't know why, it's not that hard to take it off and put the massage head on there, but it never heated up. So, I think this is another reason why it maybe you have to be more careful in the shower because it has that whole heating part to it, that the other one did. But it feels really great. And I love the heating part, like with the oil at night. I've really loved that. I've done it like 4 nights and I've really enjoyed that. And just know that it takes about 30 seconds for it to start heating up. So when you turn it on. Any other questions, comments? Do you guys think you'll get one for yourself at least? Yeah. And then, yeah.
So you must not have noticed, or maybe you just saw my order, but
I saw you ordered quite a few.
I ordered 10. I have a plan. I have a strategy. I have a campaign. Yeah. Like I'll send you a message after our meeting is over on why I did that. I mean, you probably went, did she lose her mind the day she placed that
you had
order?
kind of mentioned to me, and I know that Jody, and I was going to ask Jody, but she hopped off. She was offering, like, if you bought this full price, she was going to let you have your cleanser of choice for like a month or something. Like that was going to be her initial thing. So you paid full price for this, but you got a free cleanser. So, if you use Voluform cleanser or Time-Wise Miracle Set cleanser. So I think and I don't know how that's been going. She was offering it before it came out, to see if she could pre-sell. And I'm not sure if she sold some or not. I'll have to ask her. But anyway, so there's different things you can do, with it. And I think I might go live on my private Facebook group for my customers because I need to go live on there more to try to get more people to engage. And so I thought this might be a good thing to do and see if I get any hits on that. And then I guess I just probably need to have one that I use, at facials and let them try it and then just wash it really good with alcohol, afterwards, the head. So, because I think if you try it, then you're gonna kind of like it. So anyway, so that's that. So is there anyone that wants to do product knowledge next week? Any takers? You want to do it, Dawn, next week? Okay.
Sure.
I got you down. Next week is going to be Dawn.
It's the 28th, right?
Yes. And you can pick whatever you want. I took a little more time on this one. I mean, generally we're thinking like 10 minutes, but I thought you guys would want to know all the stuff about this. So I spent a little bit more time on it since it was brand new. So, okay.
Debbie last week and you this week, you guys are a tough act for me to follow.
Yeah, Debbie did
really prep.
Debbie did really good last week. That was perfect. What you did last week, Debbie. So yay. Okay. So the new book we're going to do, I'm excited about this because I just read the first chapter and I'm going to share some pictures here too as I go through. But I think this is going to help us as, this will help us in our personal life, build great habits, but it'll also, as we start thinking about, what do I want to do in Mary Kay this year for my seminar year, and what are my goals and what am I willing to attempt? I thought this was really good thought process. So the name of the book is called Atomic Habits, and the author is James Clear. Yeah, so Clear, James Clear. So if you want to get the book, you can. You don't have to. Or if you listen to books and you want to listen to it, I think it's good. But we'll be talking about a lot of this stuff, and we're going to try to kind of combine it with, what we're doing in Mary Kay. But this is about an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. So that could help us in any part of our life that we're trying to build good habits, right? So what he talks about, and I'll share the screen here in just a second, is what he calls marginal gains, which is a philosophy of getting 1% better on something all the time. We have it. Sometimes you see people even in Mary Kay that come in and they just go gangbusters, and you're like, wow, like how did they do that? And they and then you're like thinking, and then you feel kind of like, gosh, I couldn't do that, or that's crazy. And then sometimes they stick around and sometimes they don't. So what this book is saying is we can build habits just by increasing ourselves, increasing something we do better 1%. So small improvements accumulate into such remarkable results, and it makes a huge difference in getting somewhere. And I think sometimes what happens to people in Mary Kay or anything could be on a new health journey. It could be on something you're doing for your house. It could be, I don't know, whatever it is, or even in your regular job, you feel like you're not going fast enough, so you pull back and you stop or you quit. And I think that happens a lot to people that are getting into businesses like ours. So we convince ourselves that massive success requires massive action. And we do know that if you do a lot of action in a short amount of time, it does move you forward. But I think we also have to figure out, and we've talked about this, for our age and our energy level and what else we're doing in our life, what can we consistently do on a long-term basis that's going to move our business forward? So he said that improving by 1% isn't particularly notable. Sometimes you don't even notice it, but it can be far more meaningful, especially in the long run. The difference in a tiny improvement can make over time is astounding. If you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, you're going to end up 37 times better by the time you're done. And conversely, if you get 1% worse each day, you're going to decline nearly down to 0. So he kind of put this little map. I think this is the first map. This is his 1% worse every day for 1 year, or 1% better every day for 1 year. So see what happens if you just do 1% better. Look how the climb is for a whole year versus if you're just doing 1% worse. So our goal is to get better at whatever habit. So habits are like compound interest of self-improvement. It's sometimes when you look back so many years or whatever, you can see what has happened, which I feel like that kind of has happened with me in this business because I've been in so long, and I've had, like this, like my business has been up and down and up and down. But if you looked at it for 27 years, it probably kind of did go like this. But, from year to year, there's been times when it's felt like, and on the times that it went down, I could have said, oh, well, this isn't for me. I think I'll quit. But then, sticking around has been beneficial to me. And so I think that helps. So, but when we repeat 1% errors day by day by replicating poor decisions, duplicating tiny mistakes, and rationalizing little excuses our small choices compound into toxic results. So that's the difference between trying to improve and then replicating poor decisions over and over, even if it's a tiny little bit. So, but a slight change in your daily habits can guide your life to a very different destination. Success is the product of daily habits, not just a once in a lifetime transformation. So, as we go through this, we're going to talk about systems here in a minute. I want you to try to think about, okay, what is one thing or a couple of things that I can improve on 1%, or a little bit. I mean, you don't have to look at it and go, okay, what exactly is 1%? Just what can you do to improve a little bit every day or every week? It doesn't, so it says, it doesn't matter how successful or unsuccessful you are right now. What matters is whether your habits are putting you on the path toward success. So he brought up this little sheet. I don't know if you guys can read this very good, but what is the difference between positive compounding and negative compounding? So positive compounding is productivity, for example, accomplishing one extra task is a small feat on any given day, but it counts for a lot over an entire career. The effect of automating an old task or mastering a new skill can be even greater. The more tasks you can handle without thinking, the more your brain is free to focus on other ideas. So I've said this before, like my life has gotten really boring, now that I don't have kids in the house and all this stuff. It's like we have these systems in place that seem really boring, but over time, that is helping us have productivity, and I don't have to sit there and think every day, what do I need to do? Because I know this is what I do on Mondays, this is what I do on Tuesdays, this is what I do on Wednesdays. And in a way that feels boring, but that compounds our productivity. And then knowledge compounds is learning one new idea won't make you a genius, but a commitment to lifelong learning can be transformative. And relationships compound. People reflect your behavior back to you. The more you help others, the more others want to help you. Being a little bit nicer in each interaction can result in a network of broad and strong connections over time. And then negative compounding is like the frustration of a traffic jam, the weight of parenting responsibilities, the worry of making ends meet, the strain of slightly high blood pressure. By themselves, these common causes of stress are manageable. But when they persist for years, these little stresses compound into serious health issues. Or negative thoughts. The more you think of yourself as worthless, stupid, or ugly, the more you condition yourself to interpret life that way. You get trapped in a thought loop. The same is true for how you think about others. Once you fall into the habit of seeing people as angry, unjust, selfish, you see those kind of people everywhere. And then it talks about riots, protests, and mass movements are rarely the result of a single event. Instead, a long series of aggravations kind of added up to that. So what does what does progress really like? Breakthrough moments are often the result of many previous actions with built up the potential required to unleash a major change. Core reasons why it's so hard to build habits that last is that people make a few small changes, fail to see tangible results, and then they decide to stop. And that's kind of what I was talking about with Mary Kay. Like you guys are, I'm kind of preaching to the choir because you guys are here every week, week in, week out. You guys are continually working, and there's a lot of people that have come to our meeting one time or maybe two times, and then they just stop. And, becoming successful in Mary Kay is not all about just showing up for our meetings, but it is very helpful to have yourself connected with our group and what's going on and learning about the products. And so I know for me, I'm in a stage in my life where I want my brain to keep working well. So I'm trying to do things to learn new things. And Mary Kay kind of helps me do that, whether it's something technical or just something like this. So he said, in order to make a meaningful difference, habits need to persist long enough to break through a plateau. So he talked about, okay, say you have a piece of ice and it's sitting on the counter, and you want to see if you can get that to melt. But if it's, so say the room begins really cold and it's 26 degrees, that ice is going to stay there. And then 27 degrees, it's going to stay there as ice. 28 degrees, ice cube's still sitting there in front of you. 29 degrees, 30, and then 31, still nothing happens. And then immediately when it turns 32 degrees, the ice begins to melt. So that's sort of like when we're trying to do something, like it feels like we're not getting anywhere. We're at 26 degrees, 27 degrees, 28 degrees, and then all of a sudden it gets to be 32 degrees and then something shifts. So it feels like things sometimes take a long time, like you're trying to build up new customers, you're trying to build up your sales, and it feels like it's taking a long time. And then before you know it, it all happens all at once when you just hit that point, which that's the point that he's talking about. There's a little graph for that too. Let's see if it's understandable. So this is your valley of disappointment. So these are your results. This is the time that it takes. What you think should happen is that you think it should just go straight up from all of your work, but you start here and you feel like you're disappointed. It's like the valley of disappointment, and then all of a sudden it just starts going up. And I really believe that does happen in Mary Kay. You know, if you don't give up, you just keep going, then you start hitting this. But a lot of times when we're in this valley of disappointment is when we stop. And we've seen a lot of consultants stop there. So I think that's why it's really important to keep going. So he is talking about this, I thought was interesting. And I listened to Kristen Sharp. She did a little training on making kind of a vision book. And I've heard Julia Mundy talk about a vision book. And I've thought about that for us. Like, do we want to make some kind of dream book or vision book? And I still want to do that, but this made me think of it a little bit different because he said, don't just think about your goals. Focus, because he said, losers and winners have the same goals. If you don't have a system to get there, or if you don't have any action behind it, we can all make great dream books. This is my dream. This is what my goal, and it can just sit there and we really don't get anywhere, right? So results have very little to do with the goals and nearly everything to do with the systems that are followed. So that's really made me think about, okay, what can we do? And so now we have this new pink perks plan. This is kind of a system of income producing activities that we can focus on and encourage each other. And you can add things to it. So Dawn, like, I know you're really wanting to track how many new people you're getting. I mean, you know, definitely track that too, or however you want to track that. So he says, like I mentioned, that winners and losers have the same goals. The goals had always been there. It was only when they implemented a system of continuous small improvements that they achieved a different outcome. And so that's number one. And number two is achieving a goal is only a momentary change. Goals create an either or conflict. Either you achieve your goal and are successful, or you fail and you are a disappointment. You mentally box yourself into a narrow version of happiness. But if you're systems mentality focused, it provides the way to get there. When you fall in love with the process rather than the product, you don't have to wait to give yourself permission to be happy. You can be satisfied anytime your system is running. So that's just a thought around that. Like, okay, you know, like, am I going to be happy in Mary Kay till I hit this, till I hit that? I feel like you guys are kind of in it anyway, but I do feel like all of you would want more. And I do feel like all of you do kind of have some goals, but how do we translate that into a system that helps us improve a little bit over time so that we see results a year from now that maybe we're not seeing right now? And then there is sometimes goals that says are at odds with long-term progress. Many people find themselves reverting to their old habits after accomplishing a goal, which I thought that was interesting too, because we see that a lot in Mary Kay. We push like crazy in June and we reach our goals, and then all the great stuff we were doing, we just stop on July 1st. And there's nothing wrong with having a break and having a rest. But I think that's where you have to put that into your system so that you don't burn yourself out. It says the purpose of setting goals is to win the game, but the purpose of building systems is to continue playing the game. So if you're having trouble changing your habits, the problem isn't you. The problem is your system. So he says an atomic habit refers to a tiny change, a marginal gain, a 1% improvement. But atomic habits are not just any old habits. They are little habits. They're part of a larger system. So I think we're going to explore this more as we go. And I do feel like it is important for us to think about what we want to accomplish in the next year with our Mary Kay business. But this can also go over to any other thing you have in your life. Do you have debt that needs to be paid off? Do you have health concerns? You want to get your health better? It could be anything in your life that you're wanting to change your habits on. So habits are let's just kind of regroup what we talked about. Habits are compound interest of self-improvement, getting 1% better every day. Habits are a double-edged sword. They can work for you or against you, which is why understanding the details is essential. Small changes often appear to make no difference until you cross a critical threshold. That's like the ice melting. The most powerful outcomes of any compounding process are delayed. You need to be patient. An atomic habit is a little habit that's part of a larger system. And if you want better results, then forget about setting goals. Focus on your system instead. And you do not rise to the level of the goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So that's some things to think about. So what could you think about? And if you want to share, you can, of one thing that you can improve on a regular basis with your Mary Kay business. I feel like it's consistency for me in booking, like I do have, like I had 2 faces last week. I'm supposed to have a face this week, but I want to continually have those every week. Like I don't have to do 10 faces a week, but I want to have faces. And then if they're new, that would even be better. But if they're not new, then I want to make sure that I am getting better at that whole thing we learned last week. That focus again on really helping people with their skin and being a skin coach for people and not just trying to figure out, are they going to rebuy their miracle set, but is it working for their skin? Because I want to keep those customers and I want them to want to be on more products. And of course I want their skin to have made a difference because they're using Mary Kay. So I was thinking, like, if I was really going to focus on one thing to improve upon, it's that and booking for interviews too. Like, because I feel like that's an area I can grow as a leader is having more new recruits. I feel like, we have a fairly big unit and for the most part, we have pretty good retention. Like we don't lose a ton of people, but we gain about what we lose. So we kind of stay the same. And I thought for growth, we probably need to share this opportunity more. And I know that I do personally. Some of you guys share more than I do. And as the leader, I feel like that's an area I could grow in. So I don't want to have too many, but I thought if I am trying to improve and be consistent in my booking, and if I try to improve and be consistent in talking to people about the opportunity just a little bit more, it might make a big difference by the end of the year. So be thinking about that for yourself. What is one thing I could improve on? Maybe it's that you feel like you do need to know more about product knowledge. So what could you do to do that? Or maybe it's finding ways to meet new people. I don't know what it is for you. It could be different for all of us, but think about one thing that you could focus on improving a little bit at a time. And then we'll kind of see how that fits into building a system around that. So for booking for me, I either need to have a day that I book every week or I need to have a certain amount of time I book and it's non-negotiable. If it's a week of vacation, take a week of vacation. But in general, just because I have a busy week, that's not an excuse if I want to move forward with my Mary Kay business. I have to have a system where it takes priority. So I don't know. Any thoughts on what you guys might do, or what do you guys think about atomic habits in this little tiny bit that we're getting into?
Tonight, what I'm walking away with, since we had been exposed to atomic habits several years ago with Laura, right?
Yeah.
Tonight, what you said that I don't remember much about previously, the whole thing about like the focus about systems versus goals. You said a couple of things, and there was something you said that went quickly that I would want to hear it again. It's like one of those things I want to write this out so that it really sticks. But overall, like the part about really examining systems, like
Hmm.
that's key to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for all of us together, we can kind of, if we want to see growth in our own personal business and, um, and obviously we all do want to make money. But I don't think that money is necessarily what drives us, or else we would probably do more work. But I think it's the money, whatever the money's going to buy us. So to me, that's where I would look at it from the goal and the dream book is if I am increasing and this is what I'm making, what would I do with that money? Um, would be helpful. But again, with the focus on the customer, like Heather said last week, so we're not so self-focused that we don't take care of um, the people in front of us because what we do is also about enriching other women's lives. And in turn, that just helps our business. So it's kind of trying to figure all that out together. So any other thoughts?
I just know that I'm kind of spotty. I'm up and down and I do real good. And then
Hmm.
instead of keeping going, I like,
Hmm.
oh, that was really good. And then, but I have to be busy to keep busy. And like
Yeah.
this week, I don't have hardly anything going. And then I won't get out and talk to people and stuff unless I like go shopping. And I don't go shopping much anymore.
Yeah.
Amazon happens to be pretty easy. Otherwise, you got to go from place to place to place, to try to. Stephanie's
Yeah.
laughing at me. But
Yeah.
but that's one of the things. If I'm not busy, I'm not keeping busy with Mary Kay either. And when
Yeah.
I was out yesterday, that's when I stopped and booked that other person. And I need to set more times to just to do Mary Kay. And I don't have to
Mhm.
go out to do it either. I just have to go back to what I was going to do and on some of my books and some of the things I was going to watch. Like I was gone last Wednesday night all of a sudden. We were looking for couches and stuff, and I was gone a lot later than I thought I was going to, so I missed it. And I don't even remember what I was supposed to watch.
Well, okay, so last Wednesday was Janice Trude's, and you can
Janice Drew.
always go back to Janice Trude. She has a YouTube channel, and it's just called I think it's just called Janice Trude. Um,
She's probably got a lot of good stuff.
yeah, so this is a makeup artist that she's been having on um a, cou- e- every month, and yeah, it's just Janice Trude, Mary Kay, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I wrote that down.
so Sarah Moss, it's Maass. She is the makeup artist that Janice has been having do stuff. So you can go back and watch any of her stuff, and that just helps you learn some color technique. And she records all those. And so this week, Janice on Wednesday night is just doing a consultant training. She's not doing a guest event this Wednesday, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central, and it is on her recruiting. And so I plan on trying to watch that because I feel like that's an area that I want to get 1% better at. And so I'm going to see what Janice Trude says about recruiting. So tomorrow night's not a guest event. It's just, and then every
Okay.
Thursday night, she does a guest event that's about the Mary Kay opportunity. And so you could have guests on there if you had anybody that you wanted to watch something. And I think
Interested,
her
yeah.
guests have been really pretty good. You can always, she records all those too. So if you go back and watch them and you like, oh, this particular prospect would really like this one, you could reuse that. They don't have to be on live. Now, to get on live, you get your name in the drawings for the purses and all that,
Yeah.
but you can reuse those recordings for any prospect they might find that interesting, or if they have something in common with that person after you've seen it. So I know it's a lot of things. Like I personally don't want to be on Zoom Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights. Like I don't even want to do that every single night. So I'm not expecting you to do that, but I'm offering these opportunities. So like if it works out best for you and you have a guest that would really love Sarah Moss
Yeah,
on the color, you can get
yeah.
them on if you want, or you can watch it later. But I mean, I personally don't want to sit on Zoom 3 nights a week, but you know, that I don't know that that's where I'm going to get 1% better. But I do want to do better with recruiting. So I probably should be, maybe I need to consider Tuesdays and Thursday nights. I'm on here Tuesday night. Maybe I need to be on there Thursday night and have guests on there if I'm wanting to recruit a new person. So, that's a system that you can put in place. Like, I mean, I've met for 27 years, I've done meeting either on a Monday or a Tuesday night. And that's just a system. Like my whole family knows that's the system. Even when my kids come to town, they're like, "Oh, it's meeting night." Like that's just a system we've had in our family, and it's non-negotiable. It's especially been non-negotiable since I've been a director. But I have to say, when I was a consultant, I didn't always, and I used to have to drive to go to meeting and make copies of, and I'm like, I had to dress up. I had to make copies on the way. I had to, and I'm like, man, what am I complaining about now? I have to just go in the bedroom and turn on Zoom. It used to be harder, really. We had to drive there at 5 o'clock when it was traffic. And, I'm like, I shouldn't be complaining now for sure, but it's just all relative. Anyway, okay, well, I don't want to keep y'all too long, but next week, I'm not sure. I'm either going to I signed up for this thing to get some digital training for like Facebook algorithms. I've got to go back and listen to it. If it's really good, then that's what I'm going to train on next week. And then if it's not good, then I might do something on recruiting, but that's kind of what we're going for next week. But I mean, that's an area that I need to get 1% better at is figuring out what is my system for social media. Like this hit or miss isn't going to help with the Facebook algorithm. I need to have, a better system. So that is an area I want to get 1% better at as well. So I have a few areas I want to get 1% better at. So, I mean, I don't want to have too many things going on, but just a little bit of growth in those 3 areas might make a big difference. So anyway, all right. Any other questions, comments, anything? Okay. Thank you guys for being on and listening. And I hope you have a great week. And I'll see you guys next Tuesday for sure. All right. Thank y'all.